Hey everybody, it's me again. Yes, as told by a widow. Well, um, let me first apologize. I missed our throwback Thursday for this week. So we would definitely make up. We'll do a double whammy on next Thursday. All right. Seems like everybody seems to like those. I like it too. So I dropped in to say I did a thing, right? Um, and I did a thing that I had talked about doing when my husband was living. And one of the things that my husband and I, well, vicariously, my husband enjoyed, and that is entertaining. I love a party. That's just me. I remember growing up, my mom, when they get off work every Friday, everybody was always at our house every Friday. And would party. Like that's and then when you're in radio and things like that, it's it's not hard for my mom to have had a party. And it really wasn't even a party, it was just she just had a gathering pool of close friends and acquaintances because she was very strict about using the word friend, you know. But nonetheless, my mom's weekly gatherings, they were always very friendly. People were coming after work, and everybody knew to bring something and not just one little small thing, because my mother was known to put you, back then, I don't think it was on blast. What was the term? Basically, she will show you the revolving door. You can go right back out. Okay. But anyway, I say all that to say it was in me. So growing up, partying just was, it just came naturally to me. And I remember when my husband, we were kind of early in our marriage, and my husband was like, "You really like to entertain," because whenever we would do an event, I didn't play. Like theme birthday parties, our children's first birthday parties. Oh my goodness, you guys. I mean, clowns and characters and um shoot, one time a gym. I mean, it was, I just like to party, right? If you're gonna do it, do it. My mom would say, if you're gonna do something, make sure you do it to the best of your ability. If not, why even do it, right? So I say all that to say, you guys, my husband and I talked about some way, somehow, how I could balance my finance career with me, liking to party. And a lot of my uh, friends and some of my colleagues and things like that would get together and we would party, you guys. Yes. And I was able to find a friendly balance because finance could be really, depending on the economic climate at the time, and on a, for me, in a way, at that time, a lot of times month end, early on in my career. But as I matriculated upward or what have you, and it became a situation of making sure annual funding and all, just finance in all overall. So party was my way, or let me substitute the word party at this point in the story to entertaining, because it had become not so much a party as it was when I was like in my 20s and things like that. By this time, like in my late, like 28, late 20s, early 30s. So it had become a situation of entertaining, and I enjoyed doing it. I mean, from the time people come in, I made sure the energy was right. I knew, at this point, I knew who I wanted in certain events and those I did not. So, with certain people who would get an invite and some that did not. You follow me? And it will always just be so amazing. And I remember Chris, it was like, wow, you really get into this. I was like, yeah. He was like, you're not tired? I was like, mm-mm. Oh, after the thing out. cleaning up, breaking down. He plenty of time he was like, babe, let's just do this tomorrow. I was like, oh, you go ahead and go to bed. I'm gonna turn the music down. I'm gonna clean up. He's sipping on my adult juice, and clean up. By the time he get up in the morning, it didn't even look like there had been a party. I would have everything packed up just so he can go, put it up on the shelf in the garage. That's how much entertaining meant to me. How easy it came to me, right? And I always wonder how I could marry the two, finance and entertaining, right? And we had my husband and I had discussed like, hey, let's start an event planning and something like that. And that was really triggered by my mom at that time. I really wanted something for her to do. She had gotten older and she still liked to entertain, and to not so much give her something to do, but something that was fulfilling, that she enjoyed doing, that she can get paid for, and I can manage for, to make sure everything is right. And to also have my hand in it as well. And of course, Chris passed away, transitioned. So back to current day right now, October 15th of 2022. Now I ran into someone, and she owns an event planning business herself. She's a designer, and we were at an event together, and someone on her team didn't have a certain item. So one of the attendees at the party gave me a call. I was at home, and see, I have all types of stuff, decorative and things in my garage, which I hadn't used in a very long time. So she called and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you." She did a like a panoramic of the room, and she was like, "Do you have anything in your stash that can kind of like, bring this alive a little bit more?" So I spoke to the designer because my thing was at the time, I was like, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, things like that. But my friend was at this point, I was like, hey, I'm the one who paying for all of this, so you ain't stepping on any toes. But excuse me, you guys, just one human being to another. I wanted to speak to the designer. So I spoke to her. Her name was Lorraine. And she told me the situation, and she was like, show me, if you don't mind showing me what you have, and I can see where I can put it into my design. I said, not a problem. So I went out to the garage and, dusted some things off, and, took in the information that they gave me, and just took some pictures, and did like a little video footage of what I had. And the designer told me what items she would like. So I packed them into my car and I took them to them. And so my friend was like, no, if you're going to do all this, you might as well be a part of the party. I was like, Now this is after my husband passed away. And I was just like, nah, I'm not really there yet. So I brought the items, took it to them, and still the designers, Lorraine, her staff hadn't gotten there with the items, in which it was a really, not that they wanted raw, something happened where they couldn't get there. But anyway, I got there, and together we put it together. And she was like, so this is a question that she asked. So you just have these laying around? You do this professionally? And I was like, no, I don't do it professionally. I've always thought about doing it. I said, I did do a lot of entertaining prior to my spouse transitioning. And she was like, you have a really good eye for design. And she said, take my number, take my card. Right. And so I did, and I didn't think anything else of it. So my friend who actually paid for that particular event, she was like, hey, I saw you talking to the designer. How did that go? I said, everything went wonderful, She said, well, she told you to give her a call. Have you called her? And I was like, nah. And this one particular friend, I love her. She was like, okay, look, You're not, it's not like you're doing anything. Come on, I need you to kind of break up the monotony. Let's do something different. You've always wanted to do this. Come on, let's just take some baby steps. Just give her a call. And so I remember reaching out to her, and I think my friend, who is, her name is Karen, um, probably gave her a little snippet of my story. So when she called, she was, when I called her, the designer Lorraine, she was really excited. She was like, I got a little bit of your story, and she was like, wow, that's amazing, you know. She was like, when you're ready, she said, I'm here, to help you out. Um, if you need any type of mentoring or anything like that, let me know. And so I was like, I really appreciate it. And honestly, I think I reached out to her again only because I felt on some levels indebted to her kindness toward me, you know. So I didn't call her right off. I want to say it was about 3 weeks, and we talked. We did a couple of Zoom calls, and she said, you're gonna have to do something to put a little fire under you, right? So she said, come up with some business names and things like that. Buy you some magazines and things like that, just to kind of get you motivated. So I did that, and I said, okay. So I came up with a business name, and I'm gonna be honest. Although I've opened countless business accounts in my professional life, early when I was in 20s and I was in banking, but still in my, I what would you call that? Just, I guess, a mixture of, I'm coming out of my, at that time I was coming out of my um it's not sabbatical, because believe me, my grief journey has not been a sabbatical, but coming out of the heartache, I guess I should say, you know, um, of my coming out the cave, I guess, of some sorts, and just taking small steps out of, I guess, out of my hibernation. But my hibernation is just a way to phrase some of the time of my grief journey. I just went into hibernation. But anyway, um, I just used LegalZoom. I just paid I think almost $600 and let them do it for me, which was good. It was money well invested, and of course, it's tax deductible. But anyway, see that finance part coming out. But Lorraine, she didn't stop, and we did another Zoom call. She was like, "Hey, you should sign up for this accreditation, right?" And it was like over $2,000. I was like, "Hey, I don't think this is for me." She said, "Well, just try it." She said, "Just look at it, see what you like." And I kid you not, you all. I looked at it and I was like, "Oh wow, this is amazing." It was of course, their page was very interactive, and they had a lot of testimonials that were positive. And to hear it from Lorraine, a designer herself, that is always busy, I knew that it was good. It was a good step, because there was nothing for her to benefit from, other than my success. All right. So I did, and I knew it was the right thing to do because they were having like a discount thing, right? And I was like, oh, okay. Now let me tell you, the closer it came to the event, I kid you not. That's why I tell you guys, grief, heartache, depression, all of that, mental health can manifest itself physically. So I was scheduled for the event, and then um, COVID happened. I mean, well, things like that happen. And of course, companies everywhere made certain adjustments. So as things cleared up and calmed down, all over the world, things, slowly start to pick back up. So we were rescheduled. And during that time, of course, I shared with y'all, I lost my brother and my something, like a stepfather to me. And so the second date is there. all of a sudden, I kid you not, I got so sick, you guys. I mean, sick, sick, sick. I was in the bed for like 2 days. And during those 2 days, no, actually, I meant 2 weeks. I'm laying in bed. I was like, why am I sick? What is wrong with me? You know, it's not like I've been out because I literally don't go anywhere outside of a speaking engagement or, just, adult motherly responsibility, grocery stores, and, things like that. Outside of that, I don't do anything. I don't do any social engaging or interacting with many people. And it dawned on me, you subconsciously sabotage going to that training, right? You guys, I have this is an impromptu, so you'll see me changing because my hands are getting tired. So I after reassessing the situation, that was me go actually, it didn't just come to me. I was writing, of course, journaling, and in my journal, and like I said, those questions of reassessing myself caused me to think about it. I was like, wow. So that's why I tell you guys, get the journal, because those questions, even for me, are triggering that will cause you to really get to the motivation and nitty gritty of as to why we do some of the things we do. And I mean, I was so upset with myself because I'm like, hey, this is year 11 coming up on year 12. You at some point you're gonna have to get this together, you know? That's me coming down on myself. All right. And I tell you, the spirit was just like, calm down. You're still human. All right. You're living and you're doing the best that you can with what you have. So don't deny your emotions, because obviously they are real. It put you in the bed because I wasn't fake sick. I was sick, you all. Literally, physically. And I called the school, and that's why I tell people there is a God. I don't care if you call it God, spirit, universe, ancestors, whatever you want to call it, right? It's real. Someone, something greater than yourself, or even your higher self. I don't care what you call it. So at this point, because I was so upset with myself, I was disappointed in myself. I was just ready because I was trying to communicate with them, change it again. I was like, and through email communication, um, as with any type of email communication, sometimes things can get lost in translation. And I understand that they operate as a business. I totally get it. And so having that email communication, I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm at a point. I'll just write this off as a lost. I'm done. And I was driving to pick my sons up from school. I get this phone call. So it was one of the, I guess, student coordinators. And I made a video about it. And in the past, you guys, you can check it out. And we were talking. And she's like, Irish, if you can. She was like, we do have an online option. You can use that because we don't want you to lose any of your money. But you will greatly benefit from being in a classroom setting, putting your hands on fabric and material, and being inspired by that, and being inspired by others in the room. And I remember telling her, I just can't do it for whatever reason. I want to do it, but something in me just don't want to do it. She said, well, whatever you decide to do, Irish, just let us know. We're here to help. But I would definitely tell you that being in a classroom will be phenomenal for you, right? So, once again, that's just my personality. I said, you know what? For some reason, I can't seem to do it for me. So I'm going to do it for this lady who was kind to me on the phone. Because it basically, the conversation could have just stayed the way it was with whoever it was I was interacting with online through email, via email. And and to be honest, I was okay with the outcome from the email interaction. But this particular lady made it her business to give me a call and assess the situation. And and I thank God that that happened. But anyway, I did a thing. I went to the training and I was in a room of pro, semi pro, and even beginner designers. And it was amazing. It was 4 days, you guys. It was work. No, I can't even say it was work. It was, I don't want to call it fun either because I learned a lot. I mean, I I'm gonna leave the link to the design company in the description box. You guys, you walk away with a wealth of information. I mean, some of the things that I had envisioned, I was like, what? It's done like this? Are you serious? You know? And it was led by two really phenomenal teachers. And you would think that it would probably be led by two females. But these were very articulate and very fashionable, might I add, too. male, I mean male instructors. And they was on their ish. Okay. Um, and it worked so well for me because the way they both kind of led the class, it was instructional, but at the same time, it allowed us to put our own decorative and inspiration into our designs, right? I really felt like I was on one of the HGTV design shows. I'm serious. Like you would walk, they would say, "Hey, everybody, go catch a box," and you had to use what's in the box for your design, right? And so, and then the encouragement that I received from the instructors, because although they may not have known my personal situation, and a couple of times I would leave out and just kind of like, you know, my anxiety would build up a little bit because I was once again embarking on another goal that I had planned to do with my husband, you know. But nonetheless, I did it. I did a thing, and I did a great thing. So, this is just to let you guys know it's okay. Don't avoid your goals. I know sometimes, a lot of times, things change. So, your goals may be a little bit different. But when you feel like you're running away from something because it feels uncomfortable, because it was something that you created or you had with your spouse, and you feel like on some levels, although it didn't mean that way to me, but that you're dishonoring your spouse or in some way, that's not true. But for me, it was just that I felt it was just another, I guess, stream that was detached from me and him, right? And I guess on some levels, I'm really scared to lose him, if that makes any sense. But so I'm filming this today because I'm big on growth and expansion. Feel what you feel like I'm feeling now. Excuse me, y'all. Give me just a second.